What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Isai.
I'm Alex.
My name is Carlos.
And this is West Coast Digital. And today we got a good old 2017 NFL season recap. So, Alex, let's start with you. We're going to start off with the Los Angeles Chargers, who ended their season 9-7. Your thoughts? 30 seconds.
Well, first of all, it's weird to say Los Angeles Chargers. I still can't get over that. Team left me heartbroken. I think the team is on the cusp of greatness. We just started off 0-4, finished the season 9-7. He's just missed the playoffs barely. It's just a shame seeing all this talent on the field and not getting the results. So hopefully we draft very well. We maybe bring in some good free agents and hopefully hope for the best.
All right, Carlos, your thoughts?
Well, same thing like Alex said, the Los Angeles Chargers still feels a little weird to say it, but they had to go somewhere, and I guess they chose LA.
They didn't have to go somewhere.
Well, San Diego voted for it, and then I guess they didn't want it overall. But enough about that. The players, man, the scores. I mean, in the beginning they were a little short, flat, but now as time went on, they picked it up, and all I wish is the best for them in the future.
Okay, interesting. All right, so next thing we got Pittsburgh Steelers, who ended their regular season 13-3, and as we know, they got eliminated in the playoffs against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Alex?
I think this kind of goes along the line with the Chargers of how much talent. I think obviously the Steelers are a way more talented team, better coaching, and I'm not saying Anthony Lynn's a bad coach. I think it's kind of we have yet to see what he has in store, but you just look at how many Pro Bowlers the Steelers had on that team, and to get knocked out in the divisional round, I think it's kind of a disappointment. Who knows what goes on in the future? Maybe Le'Veon Bell leaves, but who knows? I think they're still a very talented team.
Carlos?
Well, as the records show, they're a pretty good team. They have all the great stars in there lined up, but as recently I seen how Le'Veon Bell, he's asking for basically a better deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as quote on social media, he's getting offers from the Jets this morning.
I heard that he got a contract renewal just a couple days ago.
Who?
If I'm not Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, Le'Veon Bell, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, but we'll leave that for another episode. Your expectations for the following season?
Same as this year, outstanding.
Okay. Next up, we got Kansas City Chiefs, who ended the regular season 10-6, and they got eliminated against the Tennessee Titans. Your thoughts, Alex?
Well, I think this is a whole. A couple of days ago, we could have said a whole bunch of different things about the Chiefs. With Alex Smith still being there, with him out being there, this is a huge, totally different team. But that's for a different episode. I still think that defense is stacked. It's going to be exciting to see what Kareem Hunt can do the rest of his career. Just kind of burst onto the scene. Tyreek Hill is still a monster and all that stuff, and that defense is still very, very good. You got guys like Justin Houston and Marcus Peters on the defense. I think going out on a limb, I think there should be a coaching change. Andy Reid's just not working out, but we'll have to see what the future has in store.
Carlos?
I feel like when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, they're like Alex said, the defense was outstanding, but they need to see some improvements on the offensive side. In the beginning of the season, they're starting out great, but as the season went on, they started losing the game, couldn't finish. So I would say there needs to be some changes throughout the whole lineup.
Okay. Interesting. Next up, we have the one and only Jacksonville Jaguars, who surprised a lot of people this season. Ended the regular season 10-6. Unfortunately, they got eliminated in the AFC AFC Championship against the New England Patriots. Alex?
Kind of like what you said. I think Jacksonville did surprise a lot of people. I think they've drafted very, very, very well. You got Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Fournette this past season. Even Dante Fowler Jr., their first round pick, a few years back, who's been hurt. Just very, very good free agent signings. Calais Campbell, AJ Boye. You got Tom Coughlin running the show, stuff like that. And I think, obviously, the big problem that, is kind of there is Blake Bortles. I think Blake Bortles played his ass off. in the AFC Championship game, but it's something that needs to be addressed eventually in the future.
Now, when it comes to Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like they did an outstanding job this semester. I mean,
College student.
sorry. As Alex said, yes, I'm a college student, but yes, they did phenomenal this season too with Blake Boyles. But my all-star fantasy player, Leonard Fournette, amazing.
Who you traded?
Hey, I was for a good reason. I was not colluding and made a good trade on my behalf. So yes, I say did amazing this year, and I expect them to do next year better.
All right, so next up we're going to be continuing with Tennessee Titans, 9-7. Carlos, why don't we start with you?
Oh boy. So let me talk about Tennessee Titans. When coming in with Marcus Mariota, I felt like he can need some improvements. You know, the beginning of the season was phenomenal, but as I noticed it, he wasn't really, accurate throughout the season. He kept getting declining points. I just feel like maybe with him and the whole offensive lineup, I feel like there need to be some major changes to help improve him. Offensive defense, all right, but now next season I want to see a better offensive line.
Alex?
So I think I really don't understand why they would fire their head coach. Don't really understand. I think he did, a good job of what he had. I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think they have a pretty good leader in Kevin Byard, their safety. Had 8 picks, was tied for the league. On the opposite side of the ball, I think Mariota, he's still young. He's shown flashness of greatness. Has a really good O-line. Derrick Henry's on the come up and stuff like that. Corey Davis is yet to be seen, their first round pick from last year. And I think DeMarco Murray, if he can come back from kind of like a sluggish season, I think that'd be great for him.
All right, so an interesting team up next. The Oakland, or should I say the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders. Carlos, we'll start with you again. They ended their season 6-10.
The Oakland Raiders. Well, like you said, 6-10. I would have expected them to be maybe slightly better than the Chargers, but as my team, we I don't want to cuss, but we kicked some behind. But hey, offensive line, they got Marshawn Lynch, which I would have think he would have been a beast, as in beast mode, but came in short. So I would need to say I need to see some both sides of the ball changes with offense and defense.
So I think kind of like along the lines that Carlos said, I think they just had like an off year, and then yes, we're both Chargers fans, so obviously we don't like them, and we don't really want to give them credit where credit's due. But I think the defense needs to really step up. I think they're okay on the opposite side of the ball. I think Derek Carr can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. John Gruden coming in, we've seen what he's done in the past. I think Jack Del Rio's still a good coach. I think Amari Cooper, can still be a good receiver. I think the O-line's great. I just don't think Marshawn Lynch is the answer at running back.
Interesting, you guys. And then last and not least for the AFC, at least for our picks, the Denver Broncos, 5-11. Alex?
So I think that defense is still great, even though it seems to be wearing down. I think Von Miller's still a beast coming off the edge. The safeties. I think Aqib Talib is starting to show signs of wear. I think the big concern, obviously, is probably the offense. Trevor Siemian, Lynch, Brock Osweiler. They're just not getting it done. Rumor has it they might sign Kirk Cousins, but that's for a different episode. So I think that's something that they need to address, whether it be in the draft or through free agency.
Carlos?
It's plain simple. They need to pick a quarterback, man. Keep switching them out. Who's going to be who's this week? I feel like they should go in the draft and pick someone, maybe even a first rounder, and get a quarterback.
You really think it's that simple, huh?
Well, the whole season we're trying to figure out. Maybe this draft can be their solution to their offensive problem. Defense, like Alex said, maybe it's a sluggish year. Some older veterans, are getting tired out. Maybe time to sign some, sign some players over and get some new role models in there.
All right, moving on to the NFC for our picks. Of course, we're going to start off with the Super Bowl contenders, Philadelphia Eagles, regular season 13-3, and just like I said, they are in the Super Bowl this year. Carlos.
I wouldn't think the Philadelphia Eagles would be in the Super Bowl, even though drafting, Carson Wentz, which he's a phenomenal quarterback, sucks for that injury that happened to him, man. Hey, the Backup quarterback, I feel like he's going to do a good job right now. Good to the Super Bowl. Defensive, they are Chris Long from the Patriots, man. I feel like this would be a good game with them, the Super Bowl.
This is, obviously recorded, days before the Super Bowl. I'm rooting hard for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Realistically, I think the Patriots will pull it out. I think this team has nowhere to go but up, even if they lose the Super Bowl. They're an extremely young team. Got some beasts on the defensive line. Carson Wentz is coming to his own. His receivers around him. The O-line's playing fantastic. They got a good, couple of running backs. So I think there's nowhere to go but up for the Eagles.
All right. Next up, Minnesota Vikings. 13-3 as well, but they lost against the Eagles in the NFC Championship. The Eagles against the in the NFC Championship. You're all right, Alex. Alex, we'll start with you since you're so eager to talk about the Vikings.
So I think their defense is one of the best in the NFL, if not top 5, top 3. They have, potentially 3 starting quarterbacks on their roster. All of them are going to be free agents, so that's obviously for a different episode that we have planned. I think the O-line, it's getting better than it was last year when they started out 5-0 and then they just kind of tanked. I think that's obviously a need. I think they need to get, I think Dalvin Cook, him being out the whole year, I think that hurt them. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs are starting to become weapons. So obviously, I think they're going to sign, maybe 2 of those 3 quarterbacks and then go from there.
Well, like what Alex said, I would say top 5, in offense. But, like Alex said, 3 quarterbacks going to, be free. It's going to be a tough decision when it comes to the end of the day. And I would say Stephon Diggs. How you say it? Stephon Diggs. Sorry, Say. But like I said, too, he's going to become a major weapon. And I just feel like one of these quarterbacks got to go.
All right, New Orleans Saints, 11-5. Carlos, we start with you.
When it comes to the Saints, I feel like they did phenomenal this season. I didn't expect it. Maybe finish their season off even, but seeing Matt Tail coming from the Chargers leave, I'm happy for him, man. He did better, I feel like, this season than he ever did with us, I believe. Hey, he did a phenomenal defense. I feel like he became a major role model for them, and I wish the best for them next year.
I think the Saints have nowhere to go but up. They did I think they had the best draft class with Alvin Kamara, Ryan Ramczyk, and Marshawn Lattimore. I think the defense is their problem for basically the whole NFC South, other than the Panthers. I think it's always been the defense in that division that's been the problem. Drew Brees is kind of getting old. I think he's got weapons around him, but I think there's nothing but good things to come from the Saints.
Carolina Panthers, 11-5. They got eliminated by the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs. Alex, we'll start with you.
This Carolina Panthers, they're not the team that they were when they went to the Super Bowl. I think Cam Newton is kind of overrated. I think he just has a lot of flash around him. That defense, it's been banged up a lot. Thomas Davis is kind of getting old. Luke Kuechly can't stay healthy. I'm excited to see what's in store for Christian McCaffrey. I think they need to add another offensive weapon. And I expect better things from them, but I don't think they're the team that they used to be.
Coming up, that like Alex said, with the Super Bowl, I feel like they've been decreasing with performance. But with Cam Newton, like Alex said, he's a bit of a flash player. Didn't really have that big of impact on the offensive side. But Christian McCaffrey, he should be there to help improve the team. Maybe he should be the role model compared to the Panthers quarterback they have right now.
All right, so I'm afraid that's all the time that we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Next time, we'll be talking about what is going on in the free agency market. Quickly, our Super Bowl picks for this Sunday. Alex, I think you already said you're going hard for Eagles.
Eagles, man.
And I'm going to be going for Eagles as well. All right, this is your boy Isai, and we are West Coast Digital. Signing out. Take it easy, you guys.